Welcome to the PSP post-game show. I'm PSP's Eli Storch here with KYW's and the Philly Soccer Show's Greg Orlandini. How's it going, Greg?
Doing well.
So we're going to do a little post-game show. We're going to do a little live podcast action on another wet weather, crazy Open Cup night where the Union just absolutely pulled one out of nowhere.
No, it was great seeing them rally. We really haven't seen them do that in a while, especially not this year. To go down a man so early on such a bad call, and lose CJ, who's been playing really well, it's kind of been your focus of your offense. He goes out at the 25th minute. You know, you had the rain delay early in the first half, but to see them, they go down to one goal. To see them kind of rally and kind of mix and match and get the subs right. And they kind of got in there and got that second goal and got the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a struggle because both Carroll and O'Gara looked very leggy in the middle of the pitch, and DC was able to find some space and make some things happen. You go down a man, then they go down a goal. It's really hard to see them coming back from that. But, credit the Union, but also what is Ben Olsen doing with that team to make no adjustments? Jim Curtin tried to give him credit in the postgame when I asked him about Olsen's lack of adjustments, but it was pretty staggering to have him leave Mishu and Robinson, just hang him out to dry. Mishu going one-on-one against Ayuk has only Connor Doyle, who's a striker playing left mid, to cover him, and he just got torched, absolutely torched. And Olsen made no adjustments in that game to support either of his young players.
It was a weird game plan, and this is a team that you would think would respect the Cup. They won it a couple of years ago in the midst of their really bad season. So you think they'd want to at least be in the next round of this. And teams throw out there kind of some younger guys, their second unit. I mean, the Union really can't do that right now because of the injuries. They have all this depth issues right now. But they came in with a kind of a second unit. And like you said, they kind of played. They were very stagnant in the second half, and the Union, again, Jim kind of threw some interesting subs around, kind of moved around the formation, and just took advantage of what DC was giving them.
Yeah, it looked a bit like last year with that midfield sitting deep and just kind of pinging balls out wide and letting guys run. Ayuk running at Mishu. We saw Wenger go on a couple runs. Wenger, again, tough night. He did a lot of things very poorly, but he continues to be an athlete, so he gets into good spots. But, the ball that he bangs off of both posts obviously is one that's a lot easier to make than to miss. But I think, people talk a lot about his bad luck, but you see Ayuk's goal. Beautiful ball from Maidana, beautiful takedown and pass from Williams, but Ayuk is screaming onto that ball in the box. So he can stop, stand still, and tap that in the net. Wenger's not a runner off the ball. We know this. We've documented this. We watched this happen. So when he's not running off the ball, that means that he's always chasing at the last second to try and get a toe to something, to get a sliding shot in. And that's a problem because you saw how easily Ayuk finished that. He had the whole goal to look at. He was there in plenty of time. He finishes. Wenger should have been there in plenty of time, but wasn't, and then had to, reach for it, slide for it, and somehow it's both posts.
Even so, that's a goal he should have. I mean, it was on
There's so many goals he should have had, though.
It was really on the plate for him at that time. He had a couple opportunities this game. Probably more than he's had recently, and you make a good point about he doesn't run off the ball very well, and I'm sure that's definitely a factor. But it's so deep in his mind right now. I'm sure it's just really tough to get out of it.
And then you compare that to Fabinho, who takes one of those kind of swings that you see someone take in an intramural softball game, and 9 out of 10 times you whiff on the ball and throw your back out. That's the kind of ball you expect to see a player swing through on a wet day and, hit into the river. But he just hits it so smoothly, so perfectly. Nothing Dijkstra's going to do is he just roofs that one in the top of the net.
What a change of fortune for a player like Fabinho. I mean, the preseason people were calling him to be left unprotected in the expansion draft, things like that. He's in and out of the lineup. He's played better. And this is probably one of his best games as a Union player. Comes in as a sub to play kind of on the wing, but he was cutting in. He was playing central a lot, just kind of the way they were rotating things out of necessity, out of the formation they were playing, and just took his goal so well.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what Jim Curtin does, because he came out and like the Union did with both Carlos Valdez and Rice and Boli, he said that Ray Gaddis was his right back, and he made a statement which, it certainly lit a fire under Williams and seemingly Fabinho, but he made that statement, and now he starts Ray Gaddis over an in-form Shannon Williams, who is pushed out to the left. And you see Shannon brimming with confidence, take that ball down off his chest, and it's a beautiful assist. He's getting forward, and with two fullbacks who can get forward and change a game on the attacking side, who are then playing much better, more controlled, conservative defense, you have two fullbacks in form, but Ray Gaddis is still Jim Curtin's guy, or he's, so he said. So it'll be very interesting to see if Curtin can get himself out of this corner he's kind of painted himself into.
Well, if I'm writing up the team sheet right now, it's Fabinho and Williams. I mean, Williams just has another dimension to his game that Ray doesn't have. Ray's a fine player, does a lot of things really nicely, but Shannon is a great athlete. Shannon has a really soft touch on the ball. He has good vision offensively. He's one of the better crossers on the team. He has just so many more tools than Ray that it's difficult to keep him on the bench, and it's difficult to play him out of position, even though he had that fantastic assist playing on the left side.
Yeah. So now it's things are all good at the moment. You walk into this break now. July 11th is the next time they play against Portland. Casey looks like he'll be back by then. Latu hopefully will be back by then. Hopefully you get some good news on Michael Lahoud. And Fernando Aristeguieta, a guy who kind of eyebrows were raised when the Union announced that maybe his loan wasn't a full year and that his loan was expiring soon, looks like it's going to be, he'll be back as well. I had a chance to talk to him in the Union locker room, and he confirmed that he will in fact be returning to Philadelphia, which is a great sign, because while CJ Sapong has been excellent, he can't play every minute, and having a guy of Aristeguieta's quality on the bench, on the field with him, or taking some starts and rotating is a big luxury. Jim Curtin danced around whether the deal was done. Nick Sikevich said a deal was done, and he didn't say which way it was going, but it was good to hear Fernando say that yes, he will be back, and the Union can count on him once he gets healthy.
No, it would be great to have him back, because he has that physicality that CJ doesn't really have. He's got that kind of that Casey in him, where he's a battering ram. He wants to go out and take on the center backs, where CJ's a little more. He'll kind of ghost in and out once the ball at his feet, so he's a little different player. And ordinarily, this bye week, with them having a little momentum, I'd be upset that they're not playing. But they're so thin, and they're so plagued with injury right now, that they need this time. They need this time to recover and regenerate. And I asked the question to Curtin during a press conference about Maidana. Maidana's really stepped it up. I mean, he's always had the technical ability. He's always had the ability to find that final ball and things like that. There's other things that were kind of frustrating about him, but his fitness level is taking a jump. His running is different. He's covering more ground. He has a little more desire out there, it seems like. So if he can continue that, that's going to really help this team.
Oh yeah, and he's just playing a lot smarter.
Yeah.
He's using space well. He's tracking defensively a lot better, and they've needed him. He so many things that are good for this Union team come right through him. Yeah. You saw that on both goals. He's the one who puts Williams over the top. He's the one who puts Fabinho in. He's laying Ayuk in as often as he possibly can. And he's become this really impressive fulcrum for this team. And so I'm kind of wondering how you start to deal with these guys as you get people back. I had proposed for the Portland game to go 4-4-2 with Williams and Fabinho getting forward so well. You have your attacking width that you've lacked in the past. And I would love to see Pfeffer more centrally, so try that diamond with Pfeffer and Nogueira in the middle, Carroll behind, Maidana up top, and then see what happens. Obviously Eric Ayuk's in good form, but he'll be suspended for that game. But then let Aristeguieta and Sapong play up top, because it'd be really interesting to see what they can do together, one running off the other. Yeah. And if that works, maybe you try Aristeguieta and Ayuk, Sapong Ayuk. Eric Ayuk right now is showing no fear going at people, which the Union haven't had someone who's comfortable doing that and has some technical ability to make those plays. So it'll be interesting to see how Jim Curtin deals with having players again, because a lot of lineup decisions have been made for him of late.
I think you got to really kind of figure out a way to get Sapong and Aristeguieta out there together, and Aristeguieta just plays so well as back to the goal, tying up center backs, and if he has somebody to lay the ball off to, that'd be great. And early on he didn't have that. There's just a lot of spacing issues, or he didn't get a lot of support, so he tie up the center backs, kind of get beat up, try to lay the ball off to nobody. Nobody's making that run behind, or nobody's kind of making that cut in run. Where Sabang, I think, kind of hang out behind them and come in for that. And I think Pfeffer would be a guy that could kind of go box to box a little bit and be a guy that could follow the play and follow up the hold up.
But also Eric Ayuk.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you manage to get them on the field, you saw that a lot when Aristigueta was playing with Latu and Wenger. You didn't get runners. Latu gets into the box sort of to pick up scraps. He's not looking for the layoff. He's waiting for the play to break down to jump in on it. And Wenger just doesn't run without the ball, as we've seen. He'll make some runs, but very few, and not the kind of runs you need. So it will be interesting once Aristigueta's back to have a guy like Sapong around who's just really running well and really pressing in behind. They tried them once before. It obviously didn't work. It didn't seem like they'd trained it enough. Yeah. But now that Sapong's found some form, it does seem like if he can stretch a defense deep and Aristigueta can have less than 2 and 3 bodies hanging on him, both of them might thrive under that circumstance.
No, it would be very interesting to see. And, go back to the game a little bit. On Fabinho's winner, just how good was that the build-up play on that? I mean, just the interaction that Fabinho had with Maidana to move the ball quickly through the box to get Fabinho open to get that winner, and you're seeing that. You're seeing a little more of that. You're seeing that movement. And if you could get the right guys on the field to kind of take advantage of it, a guy like Ayuk, who, like you said, will make a run to that post, or He's like I used to say about Maidana. He's a frustrating player. Ayuk's a very frustrating player, but he has like the skills that
Well, he has the ability to open it up, and one thing that I've been screaming for is when you're ripping a ball into the box, Sapong goes near post and no one goes far post.
Right.
That's not a case anymore. Mm-hmm. Sapong goes near post, Ayuk goes far post.
Right.
You have 2 runners, and that's enough to score a goal because then everybody can file in behind. Whether it's Nogueira, whether it's the other wing looping in and picking up trash, Pfeffer. But if you have your big, strong center forward going to the near post, your talented, fast winger going to the far post, now you're in business. We've seen that with Ayuk. He came on against Montreal, and I think it was Montreal, might have been Seattle. Mm-hmm. There have been so many games lately. Really? But he comes in as a substitute and just comes flying in. It was Seattle because he started against Montreal with Wenger on the bench. So he will get there, and that is just such an upgrade over what we've been seeing in terms of cautious, tentative wing play. I think they're in business, and we'll have to see what they can do against a really strong Portland team, a team that's growing into the season, and that'll be July 11th.
Yeah, anybody that comes out here from the West, it's always going to be a tough game. And Portland, so well coached, well drilled, and like I said, they're starting to feel their form a little bit, and they're going to be a handful, and it's good they're going to get this week rest because they're going to, like I said again, they're going to need to regenerate, get some guys kind of back into training and get the legs under them. But it's going to be a test. So
as we wrap up here, U.S. women going to a World Cup final. It was sometimes a little better lucky than good. Johnston, who's been such a rock for the U.S., makes a mistake, allows a ball to bounce, can't quite take it off her chest back to Hope Solo, pulls down Alexandra Pop. Sure looked like it was a denial of a direct goal scoring opportunity, and could have been a red card. It's a yellow card and a penalty. Shasic shanks the penalty, puts it wide, and then the U.S. It's not a gift in that it's a foul, but it's a gift in that the contact with Alex Morgan sure looked like it occurred outside the box. But our local friend Carly Lloyd steps up and puts it away. Kelly O'Hara, who gave the U.S. a ton of energy in the quarterfinal, gets through and seals it 2-0. And the U.S. sitting pretty watching Japan and England tomorrow.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to be in trouble against Germany. Germany well coached, well drilled again. And the women's team, just you didn't see a lot of ideas from them. You didn't see a lot of ideas from them in this game either. But again, they got the breaks, and they got the right breaks to go through.
But I think it's been a hard challenge to get to this point, and it does speak to the lack of quality in the coaching that they just stumbled on a formation that works today. I mean, they've played multiple formations in the build-up and during the World Cup, but this 4-3-3. everyone is so focused on the fact that the U.S. is so full of strikers, you need to get them on the field. But this 4-3-3 or a 4-5-1 gets Heath and Rapinoe much more free to play make. Rapinoe is going to keep the ball, and what we saw a lot of was she's going 1v2 in the midfield, and if she makes a great play, it's great, but if she loses the ball, it's a jailbreak going the other way, and you obviously can't afford that against Germany. They're a lot more lethal than China would have been. So it's a good shout to get her higher up the field, get two players with a lot of technical ability high up the field, and then Morgan's a workhorse. Yeah. It's unfortunate that she's so rusty. There were a few chances in that first half that healthy, on form Alex Morgan buries.
Just couldn't get her foot around the ball.
Yeah, or the breakaway that she bangs right into Unger. Yeah. That's a shot she usually finishes, and the rust is showing. But she's such an athlete. She's such a talented forward that she made it all work. And if it means leaving LaRue, Press, Rodriguez, Wallenbach all on the bench, and this is a more cohesive unit, I think you have to be really impressed with Morgan Bryant stepping in last game for the suspended Lauren Holiday, just making it tick, moving the ball, which was something that the U.S. has really struggled with. So especially if they go up against a smaller Japanese team, I would be shocked if they didn't continue with this formation and look to just play a little smaller, play a little quicker, and go get that World Cup trophy.
Yeah, I'd like to see that from them. Kind of keep the ball on the deck, play the triangles, because that was the downfall against Japan last year in the last Cup. That Japan had a good game plan, stuck to it through the whole game. Made the smart play, and just about every time. In the U.S., I think went a little too much. Trying to go for the home run all the time, and it bit them because Japan was more opportunistic in that game. So we'll see.
So as we wrap up here from PPL Park, I'm Eli Perlman-Stork for Philly Soccer Page. Greg here. We are also the KYW Philly Soccer Show.
Yes, we are.
We'll be posting this both on our Philly Soccer Page YouTube page and stitching this with an interview of Zach Pfeffer, which at this point you will have already seen, and putting it out as a video podcast. We'll be back in studio next week on Tuesday, and we will be recording from our traditional format. But thank you for coming out and watching today as the Union pull out an impressive come-from-behind victory, and they move on to face the winner of New York Red Bulls versus the Cosmos. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.